Welcome one and all. Today we're going to be watching a replay shared with me between two of the current top 50 players in the Stormgate beta. Start this video, give you a little bit of context into the current state of Stormgate and a bit into the meta. If you already know details about Stormgate or you're already in the beta, then you can skip straight ahead and there'll be a little link in the description which takes you straight to the live cast. But for those of you staying with me, let's give you a quick context going into this video. So, this match was a ladder ranked match played between two of the current top-rated players on the beta, that being TheoRy, the Infernal player, who was kind enough to share this replay with me, and Don Ilya, who is the Vanguard player, who is rated just inside the top 40, and a highly competitive player as well. In order for you to fully appreciate the upcoming game, let's quickly talk about Stormgate's economy. So, the game has two main resources, that being Luminite and Therium. If you take a look at the video up there, you can see Luminite can be harvested from these big glowing golden rocks, and you can max it out at 4 nodes of 3 workers each. Therium, on the other hand, sometimes referred to as ore, sprouts out from these geysers around the map. And you can see over time that it'll spout out these nodes which can be harvested the same way as Luminite until they reach maximum capacity. Once they reach maximum capacity, they'll start glowing like that. These glowing nodes can be harvested significantly faster than normal nodes, and basically you can just get more Therium in a very smaller period of time. What's key here is that when compared to Luminite, ore is significantly harder to come by and is much more costly for the units that use it. 50 ore is a hefty investment compared to, let's say, 200 Luminite. This is particularly relevant when looking at the map that this game was played on. Broken Crown. Broken Crown Hinterlands, I think is the full name of the map, has 2 technical third bases that you're going to take. You have your main starting down either in the bottom left or the top right, your natural leading straight down that path, and you'll see that the path goes around that corner, but that base down there on the low ground actually doesn't have any Therium. It's a Luminite only base. The only base that has Therium is through that little patch of trees. Now workers can destroy that tree and you can get over there, but you immediately open up the amount of area and amount of space that you're defending to this triangle where you've now got 2 large ramps that you can be attacked from, rather than if you keep it that concave round in that corner, you've got a much smaller defendable area. Similarly, 2 major units and upgrades make an appearance in this game. First of all, for the Vanguard, is the Hedgehogs. The Hedgehogs are these little buggies with missiles on top of them. They're very fast units and they have these 4 missiles on top, but when they fire them, they have to spend time recharging them. They recharge one every, I think, 1.5 seconds. So they don't take ages to come back, but they're very much fast-ranged harassment units. More importantly, though, they can also siege up. When they siege up, they take them from being these ground-to-ground attackers, they turn into a ground-to-air attackers. Their missiles recharge at a significantly faster rate, and their range is increased massively. They go from having 6 range, I think it is, to 11 range, almost double. Their anti-air capabilities massively increase. They are very, very potent anti-air attackers. On the Infernal side, the main kicker of this game is going to be the Flaming Imps. Infernals, as the race and as a way of the design, they have very much an idea around sacrificing units. Whether that be the imp being sacrificed to turn into buildings, whether it be meat farms that are used to generate supply, or whether it's brutes splitting into fiends for these like fast sacrificial units. At the core, they have the idea of sacrifice built into their race. Flaming Imps takes this to the extreme. Flaming Imps is an upgrade that takes their Imps, the worker unit of the Infernals, sets them on fire, they run around, and then they explode. They do quite a lot of damage, and they increase their move speed while they're doing it in order to make sure their hit is there, but it's a very expensive upgrade. Flame on in order to get it. Remember I said that 50 ore is quite an expensive amount. In order to get this upgrade, you need to upgrade your main shrine, which costs 100 Therium to get there, plus 200 Luminite. You have to buy a ritual chamber, which costs 150. Ore to get there. You need to then buy the upgrade, which is 100 ore, and then every single imp you sacrifice and want to sacrifice costs 50 ore each. It is a very potent ability. It costs an entire worker to do so, but it is very expensive. And obviously with each imp you're sacrificing your economy. You'll see that in the game that comes up today, and with all of that, you should have all the information you're going to need to enjoy the games that you're about to watch. I'm going to be making a lot more Stormgate content. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the game. I hope you are too. If you're enjoying it and you're liking the content, make sure you give us a subscribe and like, because I'll be doing a lot more of this. And I'll hand over to live me and we'll see how this goes. Catch you all later. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this replay that was shared by me, a little bit of top-level gameplay coming from out of the Stormgate beta. Yeah, this game featuring a Vanguard, really good Vanguard player, and a really good Infernal player. This replay was shared to me and streamed over by the Infernal player, Mr. TheoRy. I'll have a link in the description if you want to go check him out. So yeah, let me just do our quick introductions. Spawning up in the bottom left-hand corner of this map, we have our Infernal player, who is TheoRy, who is getting harassed by the dog immediately. The dog of annoying. And microwing his dog away. Spawning up in the top right-hand corner of the map, you have Don Ilya. Both top 50, I believe. Currently ranked in the kind of Stormgate World Rankings. Both players competed a lot in the tank tournaments that have appeared over the Stormgate beta. And yeah, we've seen a lot out of these two, both reputable players of their chosen factions at the moment. And yeah, so I'm very, very curious to see this game that's going on. So yeah, this replay was shared to me by TheoRy, and it was a brilliant game to watch, so I just wanted to share it across the board. Oh, okay, so we start seeing the very first couple of mechanics coming out for the Vanguard there. So you can see all the little blue glow that he has around all of his workers here. One of the abilities that Vanguard have is the ability to overcharge their bobs. It gives them extra armor and move speed, but it also gives them extra construction speed. So you can see he used that to construct this mech bay down here. Now this mech bay, you'll notice that he sold his barracks. What he's done is he's built his barracks, got himself to that mech bay, and immediately sold the barracks to get all the money back to start construction on a hedgehog here, to really try and push out that aggression and take that to the other side of the map. Meanwhile, TheoRy's going for a conclave, a one conclave fast expand. This is a pretty standard and pretty safe build. The Infernals have been going, just getting this second base immediately down. This is pretty common, especially on this map where Secluded Grove has this Therium. And you'll see this across Stormgate's general design across the board, really, is that Therium is kind of the choking factor, because there are lots of bases like this where they don't have Therium at all. So yeah, we're going to get this harassment from the Hedgehog. You can see the Hedgehog have those missiles and they're regenning over time. He is going to be able to pick off one of the Gaunts, but there's two Gaunts here should be enough to hold it off, especially with that Shroud Stone that's eventually going to go up. That Shroud Stone is literally just about to appear. So Donila, I mentioned retreating, taking this little health flower. You can shoot it, drops 3 little petals, which you can pick up and give yourself health. And then I suspect he's probably just going to try and take map control, if maybe harass a little bit more with the number of hedgehogs he's got growing across the map. Donila, obviously, seeing that his opponent has his second base, is going to try and get up his own second base across the board. So you can see, again, he's overcharged all of his bobs. He's going to start building that base. He's going to get 6 of them all constructing it. And look at how quickly that building gets thrown up. Meanwhile, over on this side of the map, TheoRy's trying to set up his third base. And Donila has spotted him. He's immediately pounced on him. He's managed to kill 2 Gaunts. Is he going to kill a third? Yeah, he's going to kill all 3 Gaunts. And that third base is really going to struggle to hold it. He has literally no units right now, so he's going to throw up a couple of Shroud Stones to defend himself. He's going to try and distract by building this Imp up, back and down as much as time as possible, but he's not going to be able to do it. And that Imp does fall, and that whole third base is denied. He managed to get back a lot of the resources because he cancelled it, but yeah, not a good time at the moment. Map control completely in the favour of the Vanguard, and this is the strength of Hedgehogs. Hedgehogs are very mobile, very fast units. And he's going to start taking these camps across the map. So this is one of the unique things, and one of the sort of things that Stormgate is kind of trying to encourage players to be more active and more mobile on the map. So we have these camps across the map, and they do various things. These resource camps, strangely by their name, give you resources. Each kill gives you 40 Luminite, which is the like basic type of resource that you get in the game. Later on, when these start at level 1, and when they respawn in, they'll spawn back in as a level 2 camp, then level 3, level 4, etc, etc. And they'll spawn with more of those creeps there that you can then kill for more resources. We have vision camps that, give you little vision area around you, and you have health camps, which heal your units. You also have speed camps off to the side here, which are little goats that increase your movement speed. So TheoRy is going to get his any tower on the low ground denied yet again, yet another base kind of denied. You see he's got the Doombringer here, this Doombringer being the sort of drop ship for the Infernal. It can load units into it, but in order to drop it off, it has to land. It has an ability called Sanctuary, where it's able to teleport back to its own base, or teleport back to any bases. So it's pretty good for harassment, and this sort of Doom drop is really common right now because you use these gaunts with their infest mechanic. So gaunts have the ranged attacks, and whenever they infest a unit, infest does a little bit of poison damage over time, but it also if a unit dies while they have infest, they will spawn a little fiend, and that'll fiends are like very high damage, very high range, very high damage, very low range, fast melee units that do a lot of damage, and that can snowball very quickly. You can very quickly kill off an entire mineral line from it here. But Donilon's managed to spot it very quickly, and he's managing to keep an eye on it. He's got this dog patrolling here, and he's setting up the hedgehogs here they started into this anti-air mode. He's going to shoot it. Oh, he manages to shoot it down. That's incredible. That was an incredible reaction there. So these hedgehogs, they naturally can't shoot up, but if you sort of siege them up, they turn into this very fast-shooting anti-air unit with ranged attacks up to like 10 range. It's very, very far. So yeah, immediately upon killing that, he knows that there's no danger now around his base, because that was a lot of units that were immediately killed or thrown away, or at least he knows that a drop's worth of units weren't there anymore. So he's going to try and push into this base to see if TheoRy is trying to set up this third again, and you'll see that he is. He's trying to get it. What army does he have to defend against it right now? And the answer is not a whole lot. He's got maybe 4 gaunts, but he is trying to get this base on the fourth, this sort of more natural third, so to speak, that's not walled off by this. So although losing this is going to be costly, it's another 300 units, 350 minerals that he's going to be losing, or 350 Luminite he's going to be losing. It's not, you know, a massive loss, because he's got this base on the low ground if he's able to hold on to it. But the question is he going to be able to? This Shroudstone is only just about to go up. He's only got 1 at the moment, and he's got to, because this back is open, keep these gaunts sort of at home. So you can see him trying to take a couple of units there to drop them across on the other side of the map. But immediately, ooh, you see that he's loaded up a couple of imps into it there. So imps have the ability. There's an ability in this game called Flaming Imps, where it turns them into little bombs, basically, and they cost Therium, they cost Luminite to cost each one, so you have to pay for it, and you can see it here. Here we go, starting to run in, and boom, boom, and they do a lot of damage. They're very big. So we're going to see, is he going to do the same here with his drops? This drop's coming into the natural line. There's not really anything defending it. In they drop. He's immediately hit that overcharge. One of them's dropped onto the low ground, which is a bit unfortunate. The bombs go in. That's a big kills, and a lot of fiends come out there as well. So look at that, fiends spawning because of the infests across the board, and a couple of units have died. Well, that's a decent hit to the economy, though. But overall, Donilon's still in a good position. He has this third base established. He's got 3 command centers or command posts set up. So he's got the production to sort of rebuild. TheoRy's only just really been able to establish his third base, and this third base isn't really a whole third base because he's missing Therium. He has Luminite, and Luminite is a very important resource, and has it, you know, having it is greatly important, but it's not a full base. He really wants to take this one over here. So you can see TheoRy's starting to take some more of the center of the map here. That's not really the ideal way of doing it, but hey, I really like what Donilon's got this here. He's got this set up little post set up over here, sort of on the natural flight path for Doombringers, to sort of keep an eye on it passing around this way. You'll see he's using these hedgehogs to scout out. He's managed to be able to scout out that this 4th base is up and being taken. I don't think he knows that this base is up here. And TheoRy's done this a lot, where he's taken 2 bases at the same time, and Don's kind of spiked in, killed one of them, and then immediately left. So he's going to try and use these... Oh, such a big kill there. A lot of Lancers die. That's the power of these flaming imps. There's a really nice surround here, but like the defense and the amount of health that units have is really strong across the board here, and the Lancers do quite a lot of damage. They also do damage in sort of straight line, so if they're able to get a hit on it. But with the Shroud Stone here and a couple of imps coming up, these imps might be going to the 3rd base, but they could be used to threaten for the flaming. Yeah, there we go. They're going to run in. And they're not going to hit anything. They take 4 seconds, they explode. So that's a little bit of wasted Therium across the board. That's really the constraint here, and that TheoRy's going to be facing, is that the Therium, he's only got 1 base at the moment he's currently mining Therium at. He has been able to establish this base up here, but is he going to immediately lose it? In comes an imp again, 1 more, and this army is a bit out of position. Imps are starting to come across the map. He's got his whole army, the Doombringer sort of coming in, but it's got no units in it. It's just sort of a threat more than anything. The army size here could take it, though. He's got only a couple of medtechs, only a couple of lancers, only 6 lancers playing, what is that, about 12 gaunts? And Gaunt's attacks also bounce, so they're doing quite a lot of damage just generally across your board. And you'll see that, yeah, they're starting to kill across the board. We're getting a couple of Exos. The Exos are starting to pick off those Gaunts. They're going to start dwindling out their numbers. And he is able to push in here, but again, is he able to actually get the kill here? Oh, so he's used that Anima Resurgence there, so that's an Animus ability where Infernals are able to completely regenerate their charges on one of their production structures. So he used that to pump out 3 Brutes. There you go, my brain blanked for a sec. 3 Brutes to help that defense. He's managed to hold it there, and he has been able to establish this space on the Thunderground. So again, Luminite is not really the shorthand here, it's Therium. So he's trying to set up this one because this has 2 Therium nodes right next to it. But again, I don't think he's going to be able to hold it. That's immediately getting shut down. He does get the cancel on it, so again, not a huge cost to him, but still very big. TheoRy's going to even use the health camp here. So the health camp that's on the other side of the map, it's coming and run in. They're going to get a couple of good hits. Okay, a couple of good hits. Yeah, the health camp that's here is not like it's not one player specific. When you take it, it's taken on both sides, and you can use it. So that's what he's going to try and use to give himself the staying power in this fight. TheoRy's bringing in a couple more imps. Oh my god, that's a lot of imps. Oh, cleans out that. That's a lot of AoE damage going through it, and that Shroud Stone's into effect. And I think between the imps and between the Gaunts don't really cost anything in terms of Therium. So this is the sort of balance. His entire economy from normally for Infernals, you're seeing more of your Therium being spent on bigger things like your Magmadons and your Hell Riders. You're not really seeing that with this. The Theory is instead just opting to go with a lot of Gaunts and a lot of Imps and just fighting constantly. And he's really having to because of how much pressure Donil's trying to push on him right now. Like, Donil's fighting, trying to take this force here, and he's getting a decent surround here, but this Weaver has been poking away. Is he going to get a good pull on anything here? Weaver have the ability to pull. They do damage over... There's the pull. Manages to pull one of the medics. That medic is going to get pulled off. Oh, big hits by the Imps. So many things dying. And whilst this looks really scary for Theory, and while this pressure's been going on, actually on the other side of the map, Donil has been really passive. He hasn't taken any further bases beyond this. He's just kind of kept pushing units into towards the base, believing that he's going to get the kill. And whilst he is making good headway, he's killed a lot of units and a lot of Imps. Theory has 4 bases set up now, and he could have a 5th. And if he's able to establish 5 bases, it doesn't matter how many Imps he sacrifices, because he can build 5 new Imps literally instantly. So the cost of the Therium is exclusively going on these Imps. He's able to pick off more, and you see, oh, there you go, there's another couple of pick-offs. This army is continuing to sort of dwindle, and he's now realizing, I don't know whether he just didn't realize there was this big, oh, that was a lot of hits as well. I don't know whether he didn't realize there was this base on the high ground as well, because he pushed really hard into this, and maybe he's now realizing he's a little bit further behind than he thought he was. There's Imps coming in, and they're just going to kill so many. I mean, he did sacrifice half a mineral line there for the win, but like, you know, I hardly think you're complaining. And as he's managed to be able to repel this, and the number of units is starting to spike up. You'll see we've got a good number of Gaunts and Brutes sort of defending now, and this is looking much more balanced in TheoRy's favour now, as Ilya just hasn't really taken. He's had map control and map presence this entire time in such a strong and large amount of control, but he's really just kind of stagnated on the number of the number of bases that he has. If while all of this was going on, he'd established himself a 4th or possibly even a 5th, he'd have the economy to keep rolling with it. But I think, oh, there we go, the Shroudstone summon, Shroudstone manifestation. So again, another one of the animus abilities that the rituals that Infernals have. They're able to spawn in this little shroud. It costs 50 mana. It's quite expensive compared to the mana totals, but it's a little overcharged Shroudstone. It fires quicker. It has higher damage, I think. It certainly has higher DPS. And you know, gives you that once that Shroudstone manifestation runs out, the Shroudstone remains. It just remains as a free Shroudstone. But you know, Shroudstones only cost 25 Luminite. They're not super expensive anyway, so you're not getting much money reward out of it. But the defensive bonus of it is huge. We're going to see a bit of an engage here. We've got a couple of Brutes stuck in the back. A couple of Imps go in. They are able to pick off a couple of the Lancers. That front line's really the big thing, is we've got a lot of Exos that are in the back, but the Exos are squishy. They're really squishy, and Medtechs aren't that important to healing up. Oh, another couple of Imps come in, and that's another couple of Lancers down. And really, a lot of this battle for Vanguards are won and lost based in the melee. As you see, oh, Ilya's put that shield down, so that's 1,000 health shield on this single Lancer. That's why that Lancer is just living forever. Yep, he's able to pull it back, but again, still no third, fourth base behind this, really. Like, he's just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and actually during this time, TheoRy's been able to establish himself, what is this now, technically his 5th or 6th base? It's his 5th technically, and he's managing to try and establish this 6th, and the unit count is only growing. If this army was constantly shrinking and getting more and more, and he was barely holding on every single time, but look at it, look at how many workers he has sacrificed in this game. How many workers has he sacrificed in this game? And yet, his supply lines for every single base are pretty much full. So he is completely able to replenish it every single time because he doesn't need to worry about it. And we are starting to see some of those higher tier units being added to it now. So we've got the Weavers there, very slow units, but they've got that pull, and that's really going to be the problem here, is he doesn't really have the capability of matching the pace with the Vanguard army. We're actually finally seeing the 4th base being constructed. Oh god, there's so many Imps! There's so many Imps! They've killed so many things. But again, he's starting to try and spread out more naturally to avoid it. But like a lot of units died, and there's only one Lancer here. There's not a lot. And even with all of those Imps sacrificed, okay, a couple more go down. But he's getting the surround on him now. And these Gaunts are in the back. They're able to pick off the Exos. The H hit they get is so expensive. He actually manages to defend it though. He's managed to hold this off. He's trying to push in. A couple of more Imps are they gonna come in? Yeah, there's the flaming ones coming in. They kill that front line. The spreads are good, but there's just so many of them. And at this point, it's not even about the number of flaming Imps. It's the actual army is shrunk so much because you've not been continually growing that you've not been able to really keep pace with it. Those Weavers are starting to pull across the map, and Weavers, their damage is quite interesting because they do a percentage of health rather than doing a flat damage across the board. So he's bringing these Imps in, and he's not even having to use them. He's just sort of threatening with them, forcing him to back off, purely based on that alone. And yeah, number of Gaunts and number of Brutes is starting to increase. Number of Weavers. This is being reinforced, but this fight is going worse and worse. And the thing with Infest, obviously, is that these Fiends are being constructed. There's another Flaming Imp. There you go. Every unit that dies is spawning a little Fiend, and these Fiends are adding to this flow. And even if you are able to survive, the numbers are being reduced. And yet, still, regardless of all of this, I know I keep banging on about it. Finally, this 4th base starts to be constructed. In this case, TheoRy is now setting up his 7th base for equivalent, and this game highlights so important that economy is so important, that you can play so well in the early and mid game, but it does not matter if your economy does not keep pace with it. And I mean, he has mined out his main. That's literally he's been forced to do so because he's finally mined out of his main. And maybe he thought he had the killing blow. Maybe he thought he was more ahead in the game than he was. But just having that capability, yeah, he's fell behind where he should have been ahead, basically. And I will admit, in this entire estate, TheoRy's been holding on by the skin of his teeth every single time. He's been surviving on throwing his imps at his opponent over and over and over again, and the amount of imps that has been thrown at this army is genuinely, I would love to go through this game and count how many imps have been exploded on at this time, because I'm willing to bet it's probably starting to hit triple figures. The number of imps that have died is you know, but that's the wonderful thing about oh god, look at how many workers there are mining this Therium. Yeah, that's the wonderful thing about Infernals, is they're very much the mindset that we can just sacrifice our units. Hell, that's gonna get picked off. Look at that number of imps, they're just wandering at them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's got so many. I think these are all the imps from the main base. Yeah, they are. They're all the imps from the main. Oh, they're all the main. Maybe from the main base and the natural. Half of this army is made up of imps. Half of your army being made up of workers. There you go. He's sort of trying to get. He's trying to get into position now. He's starting to get sandwiched by it. These Horizons with a very long range. We're starting to get the spread. The imp explosions are pretty good. Oh my god, there's so many. And he's got these imps to just throw away. He doesn't care. He doesn't care because he can rebuild them instantaneously if he wanted to anyway, but he doesn't even need to. The dragons spawned in. That is the big thing for the Infernals. Once they get 300 animus, 500 minerals, and 500 luminite, 500 luminite, and 500 Therium, they can spawn in this dragon. This dragon has infest on its attacks. It has an infest ability where all units that it hits are infested. It's just a snowball. It's the big tier 3 unit in the game at the moment, and you'll see that's starting to be picked off. These units are starting to stream in now as the army's starting to snowball. This economy has finally really hit up into his stride, and now he's just starting to, you can see the stream of units that's being sent across the map as yeah, TheoRy is just able to start pumping out the units now as he's finally got a bit of a break. He's finally managed to push back, and with the number of range, this massive range from these ranged units, like, they're just gonna fire in. They can get this pick away, and it's really frustrating for Vanguard to really do anything right now. Really, you need staying power or something to push through this fight, but currently Bio is quite a flimsy force comparatively. You don't have that stockiness normally coming from the Vulcans that would normally exist in your army when you're playing it more commonly with this this sort of med-tech Vulcan combination. You see he's trying to push that, yeah, he's pushing that overcharge on them to try and keep them alive, and he is actually, you know, he's going to get a couple of them down, and he's got this defensive structure here. This is the flat cannons. This is one of the exos inside of the bot to try and defend against it, but it's just such a large number. The volume is so large. The number of dragons are coming in. They're starting to get a good surround on it. You've got that massive range. Each one of those is also doing a little bit of AoE coming into it. Strikes into it. The number of fiends is starting to overflow. We've even got imps joining this fight as well. Yeah, we're being told as this third base is going to fall. There's the GG. What a game. There you go. And that was a very intense game out of TheoRy and Dunila. I think I really wanted to show the power of imps in this match, the amount of units that he had, and honestly the importance of having a really solid foundational economy that goes into the back of this. Like, TheoRy wouldn't have been able to sacrifice as many imps as he had if he didn't literally have like 7 million production facilities, 7 million bases set up in order to produce the number of imps that he was using.